Hello again, my name is Ray. I'm here in London. I'm sitting in my car. I've just been running a few errands because I can. I am a self-employed online entrepreneur. I sometimes work full-time. I sometimes work part-time. The beauty of this is that I am my own boss on my own time. Well, I mean, I have a family, so that'll limit it to a degree. As any of you who have families know, that your time isn't always your time. But then again, if you're part of a family, your time, that is your time. So, and that's the beauty of being self-employed and having a home-based business, particularly an online business, because the flexibility with which that presents itself, it's not a 9 to 5. You can do it pretty much anywhere, anytime, as long as you have a net connection. I actually don't have internet connection right this particular moment, and yet I'm making a video and connecting it with you, leveraging the power of the technology, which I then can go plug into the internet, and off I go. I don't need to be sitting at a desk somewhere in an office 9 to 5, having just fought my way through the sardine cans of a commute on the underground or in the subways, or had to take the bus or jump on my bike and weave through traffic and almost get killed by people who are not particularly great drivers or very bicycle aware. I mean, I love to do all the cycling and all those things, but I remember the days where I would be flat out, I'd be running a bit late, or trying to get through the traffic, or it'd be pissing rain and you're just coming in soaked, or somebody would splash me in a puddle and I'd get absolutely completely whatever. I'd get run off the road, or somebody cut me off, or because I was in a rush, maybe I did something stupid and wasn't really paying attention as well, and then I got effing and blingings and whatever's in my direction, which wasn't particularly unpleasant, so that didn't really make my day. Come in thinking, God, I just got verbally abused for no real good reason other than the fact that, we're all trying to get where we're all trying to go rather than work together. We seem to, it's the me thing. So, the beauty of it is that right now I can sit here and do this video and share with you a couple of ideas, a couple of tips and notions that I'm particularly, passionate about, that have empowered me, that I hope that it can add value to you. And, to discuss it, why would you get into an online business? I mean, that's a key question. Everybody asks me, says, it's all BS, because there's a kind of thinking out there that, one has to be in kind of like, the 40-plus hour work week. One has to go off to an office, or one has to have a particular title, or one has to have all these permutations that have been basically pitched to us, effectively scammed. I mean, we're being scammed. I mean, you go into these corporate worlds, that's a pyramid scheme. You think about it. You got your CEO, then you got your senior manager, you got middle management, and then you got your workers, and you got your grunts, and you got your volunteers. And now they're even pushing it onto interns, so they're getting it for free. I mean, what kind of bullshit is that? So, anybody who's been out there, or anybody who's been in that kind of a situation where they basically are not being valued as people, they're not being valued they're not being, kind of recognized for the value, the unique value that they bring. They're not even being recognized in the fashion about how little they get paid. In some cases they're stuck in cubicle land and they even have to ask permission to go pee. I mean, go to the toilet. I mean, what kind of crap is that? Or put in for, months and weeks and years in advance, put in a request for holiday time. And, they're constantly having a jockey to see, how much more holiday time they can get. And, I mean, it's a system. It seems to be the one that permeates the most in the world that we live in, which unfortunately we've accepted it. We've been sold a line, and unfortunately we bought it. Well, many of us bought it and then realized that it was bullshit, and some of the folks of us have the wherewithal, or have the passion, or have the desire, or or even repelled. I mean, I hate to think that one is forced out of something because you're running away from something, but there's actually more to life, that you're running towards something, which is effectively, I got into being, setting up a social enterprise and renewable energy, and what that did was it showed me and it enabled me to be my own boss, to add my own value, to basically connect with people that had a lot more kind of wherewithal than even myself, and I learned and I grew. But the difficulty with that is that when you've been your own boss, as anybody who has, is that when, for example, say a partnership or a business collapses or closes, what happens is that having been your own boss, it makes it very, very difficult to go back and be some kind of grunt in some corporate world, and it's like you almost become unemployable, because a lot of people don't like the idea that somebody might actually be more experienced or more able than them, and as a result of that, it can be quite difficult to get back into the working world, and that's what I discovered when my partnership in the business collapsed. when you're left with nothing is that effectively you have to rebuild. So the online world and the flexibility of that and the empowerment of that and the tools that are out there, leveraging the power of the internet and so on is not only attractive, it's effective. But it's only effective if you align yourself with people who actually do it well, and you actually identify and pick up a toolkit and training and support that in fact enables you and empowers you. And on that, which brings me to the point of, why would you get into an online business? Well, I connected with the community. It didn't happen immediately. I kind of learned and grew and sorry, I'm having to look in my mirrors and make sure I don't get a parking ticket, even if I'm sitting in the vehicle. These guys are ruthless. I mean, talk about a shitty way to make a living. I mean, that's really, not only are you the bane of many people's, the brunt of their frustration and anger. It's just a crappy way to make a living. It's as a revenue stream, not only as a model for a local county or council. It's a crap model for somebody to have. Those are the kind of values. I mean, it's glorified. It's glorified scam. I mean, park your vehicle on the thing. I mean, if the actual stuff was to deter and it was honestly, authentically, and transparently that money was there to basically redefine a kind of more energy efficient and a cleaner energy, and to reduce sedentary lifestyle and those kinds of things, and the money was applied to really promoting that kind of perspective, well, then it's not such a bad thing. But if it's just a case of just skimming a bunch of money off of people because they parked their car somewhere and they happen to be busy and they couldn't get there in time, and then put it into a pot and go spend it on crap that nobody really wants, whether or not that friggin' cobblestone in that sidewalk is looking absolutely sweet and pretty is of no real consequence to me. But whether or not I have a library in my community, that's really, really crucial to me. But those are just my values, and that's, I guess, part of living in an open and democratic society. We all have different ideas about how things should be done. But that said, shoulda, woulda, coulda is not what this is about, because it's about choice. I'm not saying that you should do something, but other than the fact that I think that we should be in alignment, in congruent, and living a life of good quality that we deserve. We all deserve. I've even experienced severe poverty, possibly not nearly as to the level of, say, I've seen in Africa and India. I haven't quite been to that level, but I mean, I've lived out of my car. I've been in between jobs. I've been in between things when I was working my way through school. I mean, it's tough. It can be tough. But based on those experiences, those struggles have enabled me to not necessarily know what I don't want to do, but have really, helped my mindset to understand of what is possible. I mean, a lot of people sort of use the word impossible. Someone reframed it for me the other day when I was just talking about it kind of just loosely. And they said, no, impossible is actually short for I'm possible. Anything's possible. The answers are already there. Point here is, what are your questions? What's the reason why you do something? What's your why? What's your purpose in life? Are you aligned to that? Are you fulfilling that? Are you going to actually address that in your lifetime, that when you look back you have no regrets? Not so much that you have some shiny, bright, fantastic tombstone or some epitaph or something on a park bench or some kind of whatever, you wrote a book. I mean, those are all lovely things. But actually, have you instilled some change? Have you left the place better than it was than when you arrived? Or somewhere along the line. I mean, obviously, as best you can. And that's where being self-employed, using, effective tools and strategies and trainings and mindset is key. Because I've been through a lot of training in businesses and so-called, we're all about the people and we coach our people. When in fact, it's all on paper, but in practice, it's all BS. It doesn't actually happen. There's so much proceduring that goes on that in fact is not empowering, that in fact disempowering. If you do something wrong, the disciplinary action is, we'll coach you, when in fact we go in and get coached because you did something wrong, because basically you didn't know, or you made a mistake, or something happened that wasn't particularly good. They can't just fire you. So they go through a process that basically is like, okay, well, we coached him, and we coached him on this and coached him on that, but, we actually don't think he fits in, so we're going to get rid of him. I mean, what kind of BS is that? the beauty of being your own boss and having your own online presence is that, you can move around, meaning that it doesn't mean that you don't have any focus. It means that you can keep going until you identify with people that you have like-minded notions and beliefs and values with, and still be successful. And you can even work with people that you don't necessarily have to. I mean, there are people within the team who happen to be, so-called kind of alternatives, who might be into goths, gothic lifestyle, who might be hippies, if people, I'm not even sure what that means anymore, who might be completely conservative, who might be extremely, health junkies or health freaks or fitness freaks. There might be those people who are a bit dogmatic in their faith and so forth. Or there might be those people who are extremely altruistic in their faith and really are true to it and really walk their talk. There are people who are atheists, there are people who are Buddhists, there are people who are whatever faith that happens to be or spiritual values that they place on things. Might be all about the money, and it might be people all about the people and still haven't quite figured out how to manage it, but somehow are attractive and their business is working. Techies, non-techies, programmers, non-programs, ideas people, bean counters. There are a range of possibilities of what one can do online, and the beauty of being in the internet and leveraging the power of the internet is that, it seems to me that, things seem to unfold because maybe it is people are shy, they need that buffer. I mean, how many people have we seen now on mobile phones that have leash their lives onto us at the bus stop or in the bus? Things that you don't necessarily want to know about them, but if they were to actually have that person in front of them, they wouldn't necessarily be so open. I mean, it's just funny how we are like that. It's like it's kind of incognito. People throw on the sunglasses, and all of a sudden there's a bit more air of confidence. But the beauty of it is that if you're actually engaged in what you do, and you're passionate about what you do, and you believe in it, and you're doing it, and you're able to do it, and you have a mechanism in place that allows you to do those things as you want, when you want, where you want, with who you want, your confidence grows. Success breeds confidence, and then again, it's a feedback loop. Confidence breeds success, success breeds confidence. It's not about get successful to be happy. It's that be happy, successful follow. There's this cycle, and then they feed on each other. And it's just similarly in the negatives. The negatives do the same thing. You can't have one without the other. Of course, you've got yin and yang. I mean, you can't, what's happiness without sadness? But if you have, touched into yourself and connected with your inner source and your inner power and your inner vulnerability and really gotten to know yourself, and then able to, there are people out there just like you doing those processes, going through that kind of level of self-discovery and development, who in fact are also online, who would love to connect with people who have different perspectives on the whole thing, who have different experiences, but are going through a similar process, and being successful online. And that, to me, is what the beauty of the internet can provide. It doesn't mean it will, because everybody's different. It doesn't mean it's a guarantee. Absolutely not. You got some people who are incredibly driven. You got other people who are basically just stuck, But the possibilities are there. Absolutely. So I'm able to sit here on my drive home from running errands and dropping off my kids at school and so on and so on, and being able to stop and share this with you, an idea that popped in my head that, there's a lot of questions as why do you do what you do? Well, because I can do this. Because effectively I can hang out with you now. I can get an idea in my head, put it down onto it, and down on a iPad or iPhone or a laptop, record my thoughts, share them with you. Hopefully they're of value to you, because there's a lot of things out there that people are confused about. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of overwhelm. I'm here to say to you that it's possible. People are doing it. I'm included in that, and so can you. So really look into yourself and kind of go, what is it that I would like to have and achieve in my life that I'm not doing now, and how can I change it? And take action. Don't just talk about it. There are people out there who believe in you, who support you. Why? Because they've done it. They're doing it. And they would love to be able to connect with people who are also doing it. I mean, to me, that's an empowered world where you've got people who have actually been able to tap in and then get on with it and do it and experience life as they ought to, according to who they are. There are many people who just sell out and just disbelief and just go, well, they buy that line. Oh, well, I guess I have to be just, I got to work my ass off. It doesn't mean that you don't have to work hard, but you have to work smart. And being smart is about being connected with self and being true to self. And it's when we're not that things go wrong. I mean, that to me is what violence is all about. That to me is when people go off on shooting sprees. Something's messed up. There's something out of whack. There's something that's being fed in the wrong way, and it usually is coming in from the frickin' TV, the idiot box. So get rid of that for starters. Don't change the channel because like TV. You sit there and just get rid of the TV, get rid of the remote, get off your ass and go change the world and make your own story happen. And I'd love to hear about it. I know there's a lot of other people who'd love to connect with you. I'm sure you even know people who probably are thinking, God, just it'd be great if they did, if they just only do it. And maybe you've heard that. Maybe, or there'll be other people, unfortunately, who are also saying, it'll never happen. It's not for you. It's not going to happen. It's all BS. It's all snake oil. Absolutely not. So follow your bliss. Follow your dreams. Follow it. And if you have to work in the meantime, make it a hobby, but add to it every little bit. Read things that are empowering, connect with people that are empowering, do things that are empowering, improve your health, improve your mind, improve your body, improve your ideas, and improve your opportunities. And on that note, I look forward to really catching up and hearing about it or connecting with you or working alongside with you and making it all happen. So make it a fantastic day, week, month, year, and we will catch up with you at that next crossroad on our journeys and the road to prosperity. Thanks very much, and we'll catch you later.